Hey, Dr. C here with you. So this is about unveiling the healing powers of ashwagandha for thyroid disease. This is a fun topic. This is a great, useful botanical medication with some good research behind it. So briefly, what is thyroid disease? Why is this relevant? Well, the main versions are Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism. So one is where there's too little thyroid hormone. One is where there's an autoimmune attack against the thyroid. Common stuff. This affects hundreds of millions of people worldwide, and many are struggling to feel better and looking for more options. So ashwagandha has been well studied, mostly for hypothyroidism, so bear that in mind. What you're going to learn about in this video is what ashwagandha is, what its historical uses are, what else it can do, its relevance for thyroid function, some relevant clinical trials, and then some applications for that. So the background, ashwagandha is a plant that's been called Indian ginseng. The actual botanical name is Withania somnifera. The literal translation of ashwagandha is a Sanskrit word for smells like a horse. Kind of a funny name, but it does smell kind of like a horse. I don't think it's unpleasant, but it does smell a little bit odd. It's been used for thousands of years in traditional Ayurvedic medicine. Many have heard about traditional Chinese medicine, which includes acupuncture or herbal medicine. There's also an Ayurvedic system of medicine from India, and this even predates Chinese medicine. Ayurveda had a very evolved understanding of the use of herbal medicines. It categorized all of them into three different groups: those that were stimulating, those that were sedating in some way, and those that were balancing, that created more resilience, more internal reserve. And there are things that simply give one more energy, like a stimulant, but in those cases there's always a drop off afterward. Caffeine is one of the most dramatic examples. Ayurveda put more weight on the balancing herbs. They called those sattvic, and they were ones that gave the body more capacity to adjust itself as needed. And ashwagandha is unusual in that it is a sattvic tonic. So it can give more energy, more strength, more resilience, but it's not a stimulant. And it can actually improve sleep and help better relaxation. So quite unusual in that sense. Yeah, there's not many adaptogens that work like that. Now, relative to thyroid function, there have been a lot of really good studies. One of the more recent ones took 90 adults that had subclinical hypothyroidism. Now, this is a situation where their TSH levels are markedly elevated, and many have symptoms of hypothyroidism, fatigue or mood changes or weight gain. The TSH is the pituitary's message to the thyroid telling it to work. And so the higher it is, the more the thyroid is close to becoming underactive. And in this study, what they saw was that the amount of signal to the thyroid, the TSH, improved radically. And the amount of hormone coming from the thyroid in terms of the T3 and T4 also improved radically. And that was compared to a placebo group. So it was a well-done study. A big number of people were taken who had subclinical hypothyroidism. They were divided up. Half were given ashwagandha capsules, half were given a placebo, and they were closely tracked for all of their levels and also their relevant symptoms. And as a generalization, they did better. Most had symptomatic improvements. And this is the thing. Yes, their thyroid hormones got better, so that was part of it. But there's a lot of elements beyond just how much thyroid hormone is there. There's how the body uses those hormones and how the body is responding to stressors in general and how other parts of the body are working. And that's where it's nice to have approaches besides just medication or besides just adjusting medication. This was a useful study because there have been some past animal studies suggesting that ashwagandha directly stimulated the thyroid, suggesting that it caused the thyroid to release more hormone or force the body to activate more of that hormone. And if those mechanisms were true, they would have created caution for those who didn't need extra. If someone were at risk for hyperthyroidism, or even if someone did need that, could they get too much? Could they take enough to where now their body is overproducing? And given the more recent human trials, that's really no longer a relative concern. It seems that its effects are more about stabilizing how the thyroid responds to TSH and really helping to under-regulate and fix some of the problems that give rise to thyroid dysfunction by itself. So yeah, no big negatives about it forcing the thyroid to overwork. How is this best used? Well, I made a blend called Hypothyroid Support. And that was based upon all the nutraceuticals clinically proven in humans to make a big difference for hypothyroid levels or hypothyroid symptoms, or both. So in that, I paired it with methylsulfonylmethane, valine, vitamin A, copper, riboflavin, folate. And that's the thing, nutraceuticals work best in the context. They work best with others with things that are synergistic for them. And this is best for those who have hypothyroidism to any degree. So mild hypothyroidism, you might be told your levels are okay but a little low, normal but not quite ideal. That's one way that doctors might explain that. Or they might call that suboptimal, or the term subclinical can come up. But overt hypothyroidism can also be fine with ashwagandha as part of other treatments. It is safe for those who are on thyroid medications. To be really precise, you wouldn't take it at the exact same time as your medicine, but at least an hour later can be appropriate. And again, ashwagandha is really best in the context of other nutrients to be most effective. So to wrap all this up, this is a nice thing. It's a food-like plant. It's called an adaptogen. No real big safety concerns with it for commonly used dosages, and okay for those already on other thyroid treatments. But this is one more way to help your body feel better and reduce symptoms and have a longer-term chance of feeling better and regaining your health again. All right, Dr. C with you. Take great care. Bye-bye.